So as you locate, I'm just going to put it kind of tucked in behind this guy here. So I'm going to start off just with a vertical cylinder, try to get the height of this piece in here, and do the same thing. I can start off with a rectangular shape in a perspective view, and once I have that, I can again find the diagonal parts to help me locate the cylindrical part. There's the center. So once I do that on all four sides of this rectangle, I can start to curve that piece. It usually goes a third of the distance to that extra diagonal, to the point where you can draw this right out like so. And once you get that in there, then you just have to round off the corners so they're no longer corners to build that shape. And then eventually you'll get used to just drawing that up. Any thickness that you make, it's going to be thicker in the foreground part, front of it. Tapers, gets smaller as it goes in the distance, so the overall segment of that plastic is back there. And then it has a thickness. It's not vertical anymore, except for this part, the lip is, and then it starts to taper. So seeing about getting that section in there. So once you get it there, you can kind of heavy some of it up, builds up that section. And then the proportion, now you take it vertically, even if you went vertical on all the sides, coming in just a little bit to show the taper of it, come down to the bottom. And then symmetrically, as you're doing this, put it on either side. So the ellipse, you're seeing more of the ellipse because it's going lower, the lower part here. Okay. So if this came down straight, just kind of moving it in just slightly, gets the distance, and then the elliptical shape, the minor axis is the shorter one, becomes larger because you're looking at it further down. And just lining these pieces up. So just straightening it up. So again, once you get it, I'm just drawing through it, having this little overlap. And you want to lose any corner edges that you get right from there. You can see that this has a little lip inside of it here to this, so as you go straight across, you'll find the beginning and end. And again, this is the ellipse in the middle. So we're just going to extend that. Part that's at the bottom, you might have to look at a couple pictures when you take a look at your reference, because it's now showing you the casters a little closer at least. Okay, so you can kind of see a little bit of the side edge. Again, just like the previous one, it's an elliptical shape that has the depth and thickness to it. Setting that part in there. And then if you add in the handle, I'm going to put it on the almost in the front, not necessarily in the middle, but it's straight down. And then it's just offset a little bit, tapered out, and building it across like that. And that has a thickness. And the thickness is very easy to draw right in as you're putting this whole thing together. So once you get that section, see if I can place it in there. Kind of just a simple everyday, if you're in maintenance, everyday object. So I'm just kind of heavy up these ellipses. Extend this all the way around. Comes up over here. Locate that. So once I have this part, everything's fine. So there's this edge to it. And it creates the handle for the grabbing of it right there. And again, once I get the part that's shaded, I can just drop this right down. Now the tricky part of being in color, you have to force the issue of all the values so you can kind of get it started, but then you have to indicate where that's going to be. So it'll give you a little more room. So again, starting it, just pushing the straight edge kind of helps you shade this up real easily. finding these edges. Bringing that right down there. And in this part you can start to see that it does cast a shadow, so you can incorporate that to help you with the lighting. A little bit of a indentation inside the bottom of this. And when you get down to these casters, you have the wheels here. Places that in there. And again, I've kind of extended this part. It's going to have a shadow right here. So just extend that part. And this outside lip. Now these lips, just from an engineering standpoint, are just for some stability, the thickness of the plastic, but also the way it's torn down here. It's just like corrugated cardboard to give it a little more strength. And again, taking a look at these inside pieces, depend on how far you've placed yours inside here. Like so.